Hey guys, still completing quests, closing rifts, yada yada. The war table mission for measure the veil's strength has finished, so we're gonna go off and do that. And it took me 3 takes, and I still couldn't say that right. So we're gonna roll with this one. I blame my lack of coffee today. We have also learned more about dragons. Exciting! Our dude sat on a throne of bleached dragon bone. Really does sound uncomfortable. And we mustn't forget about Bianca. We do have her present. Very exciting. Varric must be very happy right now. We are currently in the hinterlands. We tracked down the large rift, so we're going to be closing that. It has, of course, opened up in a creepy, buried ruin. Because why would it be somewhere cheerful? Head down the creepy stairs. And oh, look! It's a rift. Let's kill it. Yay, the big bad rift is dead. Didn't really give us any good loot, but you know, it's dead. After that, I decided to make a pit stop in Val Royeaux, and I found a few codexes in the furnishings store that amused me.
A learned child is a blessing upon his parents and onto the Maker.
Some notes and codexes in the Orlesian Tavern, or Salon, or whatever the hell they'd like to call it.
Wonderful.
Back in Skyhold for a moment.
Running late again. We have to keep the schedule.
Of course. I'm sorry.
You should be. There are lives on the line.
In the tavern, Sarah?
Never you mind. Just keep time.
This is our last upgrade to Skyhold, a better tower. You get to pick between mage. Like the courtyard, it's entirely cosmetic. Doesn't really do anything other than redecorates a particular aspect. That said, we've gone with mage. It would be nice if they had a different option for if you didn't particularly like the mages or the Templars.
A proper mage tower.
We're back in the Emerald Graves. There's no quest that has brought us here.
Place.
No guards, no staff. I suspect this place has been abandoned for some time.
This is just an abandoned mansion that you find as you are clearing out rifts in the Emerald Graves. And it's really creepy.
That did not just light itself. Cassandra, Seekers go first, yeah?
Something stirs here. Stay alert.
Nobody would keep this lot as servants. Thieves, perhaps.
Piss poor job of it.
We have found a map.
You hear? I heard.
place makes my skin crawl.
Up here is our second map. A really interesting note. This could just be my imagination, but the longer I stayed in here, the more corpses seemed to generate and wander about. This references the Red Crossing, the incident that led to the Exalted Marches. We did a whole thing about that earlier. So we do know that this does in fact reference an elf and a human who fell in love, and sadly their star-crossed romance led to a lot of death.
Look at this. There are more books on magic and how to contain it. Many of these tomes are complete fabrications. Charlatans preying on the fears of the ignorant.
In a different area of the house, we discover that some of their guests couldn't bear to stay in the house any longer. And here is the third map. Now we use the balcony key to get outside into the previously locked area. It is a giant glowing box. First we kill the corpses, then we go poke the box. Because I'm the Inquisitor, and whenever I see glowing things, I have to poke them. Before that, though, we're gonna have Sarah pick the lock to this door, because I want to know what's on the other side. Come on, Sarah. Move over. There we go. And a note that pretty much confirms everything that we've put together at this point. That the Lord here had a child who had magic, and instead of, responding to this sanely, they hired someone to try and teach or bind her in secret, and yeah, that didn't work out very well. I have a feeling we're about to meet his child.
We're not alone! see what happens when magic's dangers are ignored. I believe our work is done, Inquisitor.
And yep, when we loot the main body, we see the family crest. Very sad, really. On a more cheerful note, back at Skyhold, we get to have a brief conversation
Victory
with
in the Arbor
Cassandra.
Wilds. The Archdemon might have been a real threat to our army, but it flew off once we turned the tide. It is still out there, however. I wonder what Corypheus plans now.
He'll hide. What other choice does he have?
Do not underestimate Corypheus. He is powerful, and you have yet to fight him one-on-one. But he will come. You will get your chance.
It wouldn't be any fun if all this was over so soon.
Corypheus believes himself a god. Pride alone demands he not slink off into the shadows. I have faith you will be victorious even so. Not long ago, this was impossible to imagine. You, a valued friend, victory close at hand. The time has come to consider what will come next.
We still have to beat Corypheus.
I have not forgotten. Blessed are they who stand before the corrupt and the wicked and do not falter. You have come far, my friend. It has been an honor.
Blackwall also has something to talk to us about.
So it's done?
Just about. The little ones in the camps don't have much. I thought this might cheer them up. Even in the midst of war, they deserve to be children.
It's almost time. Are you ready?
I am. I've been ready for a long time. Things become clear on the battlefield. It's where I truly know myself. Everything else fades.
Shouldn't you at least pretend to be afraid of Corypheus? He is an ancient Magister Darkspawn with untold power.
There is fear, but also exhilaration. There has always been one constant. I am a soldier. I am trained to kill, to follow orders, and to ask no questions. But this time, I'm fighting for something I believe in. The people I care about. I chose to stay with the Inquisition. I chose this fight. And the difference is profound. I have only you to thank.
We also get a cutscene with Vivienne.
I expected ruins.
They were. As you see, the Inquisition has not been idle.
Would it be possible to meet the Herald before we return to Ghislaine?
My dear Laurent, for you, anything. Allow me to present Inquisitor Llewellyn.
Your worship, you do us great honor.
Inquisitor, this is my dear Bastien's sister, Grand Cleric Marceline, and his son, Duke Laurent of the Council of Heralds.
Madame de Fer has told us what great trials you faced, trying to save my poor brother's life.
The Maker called my father to his side. It was valiant of you to champion him in his final hours.
If only I'd been able to save Bastien.
The Circle of Magi told Bastien many years ago that his illness was incurable. It was simply his time.
Would you mind waiting for me in the chapel, my dears? The Inquisitor and I have business to discuss.
It has been our very great pleasure, Herald.
So you've met the family now, and made a good impression in spite of yourself. Well done.
Wait, you talked them into supporting the Inquisition?
Of course I did, my dear. Properly worded, the righteous cause of the Inquisition can be used to great effect with my Bastien's deeply pious relations. With Bastien's loss, I have connections to the Council of Heralds and the highest levels of the Chantry, all thanks to you.
You always get what you want, don't you? No matter who you have to step over.
Of course I do, Inquisitor. I play the game to win. Well, I can't keep Marceline and Laurent waiting. Thank you so much for your cooperation, Inquisitor. I could never have done this without your help.
One of the downsides of this one is they don't always attach emotions to your dialogue options, so you don't always know what it's going to be. I really thought that last option was going to be a more playful teasing rather than actually trying to pick a fight with Vivienne. Throughout all 3 games, there is a rule of thumb that the first option is more diplomatic. The second option is more funny / sassy. And the third is the more angry one. In the second game, they were pretty good about always having some kind of icon that would tell you how what you said was going to be received.
Morrigan seems pleased with herself for some reason. That smug face. She becomes more and more like her mother each day. Don't tell her I said that.
What do you mean?
The name breaks free, pulls the pain with it. A black wall to shield the self when the sky is rainier.
I'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
I found this particular note in the Exalted Plains while kind of dicking around, finishing some things up. Thought it might be of interest. Here's also a codex that we missed in the Dalish camp the first time we were here.
Passes peacefully into the beyond.
Now, if you want to do the Spoils of Desecration quest and get into the grotto in the Elven Ruin, I advise doing it after you've done everything you want to do with the Dalish, because you have to desecrate the tombs to get the key. There isn't really a lot in here, so whether or not you want to go in is completely up to you. It's not plot essential. There's no really essential stuff in here. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of the loot's good and you do get some schematics, but nothing particularly mind-blowing. Once you come upstairs, there's a mosaic piece, a few demons to fight. Well, undead, not demons. Close enough.
Back me up!
It is kind of cool that when you come back down the stairs to leave, the bodies in the first graves rise to attack you. That's just kind of neat.
I wonder if it will ever be what it was before.
Random musings from Vivienne. And random love notes. So, there's a giant creepy hole here. That means we are, of course, obligated to go down and see what's down here. And what we're going to find is a giant, annoying puzzle. Alright, so the goal is to light all of these, but there are pillars in the way that we have to move by various means of lighting torches and turning cranks. And I'm not going to try to walk us through this particular puzzle because it took me too long to remember how to do it, and the footage is just not conducive to walk through at all. Needless to say, it is not a terribly difficult puzzle when you remember how to do it, and there are many wonderful walkthroughs and step-by-step instruction guides that have already been created.
Checked your drawers recently, Vivi?
Oh, yes, my dear. Although I was rather well stocked with that particular shade of viper, so I sent it back.
Sent it back?
Yes. It should make its way to you at some point. I was most concerned it might have difficulty on the steps, so I gave it legs. 6 of them.
That's not... You're making fun, right?
Do you sleep with your mouth open? I should avoid that. It was heavy with eggs. Skitter, skitter.
On that creepy note, and as our last mission for this segment, we have hopped back to the hinterlands where we are clearing out the mercenary fortress. And here's a codex about how the fortress was built.
Vivienne, about you and Duke Bastien.
There's no need to tiptoe, darling.
You were together a long time?
We were, yes. And I will cherish the years we had.
Are you?
More questions? My, aren't we curious today? Seeking guidance in matters of the heart?
I only wish to express my sympathy, Vivienne.
It will be fine, dear.
That's all for this one. We are going to need to head back into Valimar at some point. We'll be doing that probably in the next segment or maybe the one after that.